Hey you guys, so I am here with my week 4 video. I hope so. Um, and it's a little different because I usually have my hair out and stuff like that, but it's like going on 1 in the morning right now, so I didn't feel the need for all of that. And since these videos are about me being raw and really just who I am while we explore mental health together, I felt like this was even more perfect to just come here like this, really. But this week, I really wanted to get into resentment. It's kind of for me and probably a lot of other people, a big thing. It can be looked at as like, intolerance in a way, maybe, stuff like that. But basically, it's just when you really regret people or things that you may have accepted in your life at one point. I actually remember a couple years ago, I was watching this lady named Lois Hayes. She actually passed away in 2017, and I think I discovered her in like 2018. But she actually had a video about resentment and actually about too how she overcame cancer in her body that developed from resentment, which is a very interesting thing to think about. But I'm going to touch a little bit more on that. But just to finish talking about her really quick, she's actually a really great person to listen to. She has a lot of meditative videos, a lot of encouraging videos. She's really great. A lot of manifestation videos. But anyway, she was just talking about how, in regards to, I don't remember if it was both of her parents or just her mom, but growing up, she had a lot of issues with them, and she just, and a lot of issues in her childhood period, and she just held on to that resentment and regret for her life for so long that she actually developed cancer in her body. And she was just explaining how, with resentment, the way your brain processes it and holds on to those feelings, it creates chemicals that actually damage the body and the nerves and cells in your body, and that's how she developed the cancer. And she was actually able to heal herself from cancer once she really took it upon herself to not only heal herself with the food she was eating and things like that, but with the mentality she had about life, and the way she approached it. So I'm going to put the description for that video I'm going to put the link for that video in the description box below so you can check it out. I promise you it's really good. But I just really wanted to talk about a couple different things here today. So I'll talk about this stuff first, then I'll get into my own resentment for things. So some things that can cause resentment in life, like I mentioned with Miss Hayes, family is usually one of the main ones, and friends, and just a whole bunch of stuff, really. But even being like assaulted, like whether sexually or just physically, but then like the people that you feel like should have priority in what happened to you, not taking it seriously, you can be resentful to them or even to yourself, feeling like it's your fault for getting in that situation. You can be resentful if you decided to put your credit or money or your finances or whatever and things like that on a limb for other people, and it's not repaid. No one cares about what happens to you after that type thing. You can be very resentful towards yourself or that person or situation for that. The same thing with buying things, like even if it's use your credit or if you actually bought stuff and there was no gratitude given for what you did, that can make you resentful. With children, stuff like that. I'm a mom too, but my daughter is like 1 and she's really grateful for a whole bunch of random stuff. So, but when the kids get older, you may feel like you're doing something really nice for them, and they don't show gratitude for it, and you might resent having kids. Like you might feel like you had more money when you didn't have kids and you wish they weren't here, stuff like that. or when your parents get older, you might resent them for getting older, or for not taking care of themselves, or just different things like that. And people not changing, you could resent people in your life for them either, you guys started on the same level and you start doing different things. And maybe it's someone that you feel like you can't get away from, like it's a family member that you live with, or even going back to your child, or if it's your parent, or even if it's your partner or someone like that, and you resent them for not evolving with you. The list really goes on with resentment. And for me, in my own personal situations, just thinking back to some, thinking on some current ones, mine kind of revolve around how I've let my finances go. Some revolve around how I wasted time in my earlier 20s. I'm only 26, but like when I was like 21 and stuff like that. Sometimes I have a lot of resentment to myself, just wishing I did stuff differently. I see people that age now really like, living it up, making money, taking care of themselves. And like, I ain't gonna lie, it makes me a little envious. Like, not that like, they don't deserve to do that. Like, it's very good that they're doing that. Like, that's wonderful. Like, that's really what I wish I was doing. And so at that time, and so it makes me resentful towards myself sometimes when I think about how I wasn't, how much money I wasted, and just the stuff I did that just was not beneficial to me. And it's like, I just was a different person back then. Like I had nowhere near the mindset I have now. So it's like, instead of forgiving myself and moving on from that, like I hold that resentment in my heart towards myself, and I really don't want to anymore, just because like that's not doing anything for me. It's making me live in the past, which is also something Miss Hayes talks about. Like she was really amazing. But anyway, it makes me live in the past, and I'm not able to use that mental energy and power on making my future more of what I want it to be, because I'm so stuck on what I wish I would have done. And it's like that's not helping me. Like, and I feel like a lot of us do that, we think about the past a lot, or, a different era. Like I tell people all the time, like I'm stuck in like 2012. Like I was like 18 then, but like that's just an era like that was really cool for me. Like I really enjoyed it. I just had graduated from high school. I was about to go to college. Like, life was lit for me back then. And life's lit for me now, but it's like that was just a particular time period in my life where I really felt on top of the world type thing. And it's like, it's cool to have those moments, but when we let the past outshine the present, it does something to us. Not only on a molecular level, but like on a mental level. Like that's where honestly a lot of like midlife crises and stuff come from. People be thinking about stuff from 20 years ago. Oh, I remember when I used to live it up and all this other stuff. Like that's great, but like you can still live it up now. You don't have to try and do those same things or try and fit in with that crowd that's currently that age or whatever. And like going back to myself, I don't have to, look at people that age now and be like, dang, I wish I was doing this when I was their age. Like, there's a lot of stuff I see people that age doing that I just was not thinking about. And it's like, that's just not where my mind was at. And now, I'm a parent, so I feel like, oh, I can't even do half the stuff that I wish I did at that age now or whatever, which in some aspects is true, just because it's like, that just wouldn't serve a good purpose for me. And, I do have to think about my kids in a sense of, what situation would that put them in? And I don't regret my children. It's just, sometimes I guess I regret the timing, but it's like still like everything happens for a reason. Everything happens in the time and it was supposed to. So you really shouldn't be resentful for your life, if you're really not trying to make any changes and you're looking back on stuff that you used to do and you're doing worse now, then, you just really need to reevaluate your life. But, like, if you've really become better, like, for me, for example, like, I'm really grateful for who I've become since the person who was 21. Yes, I do wish that 21-year-old was doing stuff differently. Maybe I would have been in a different spot. Maybe whatever. Like, I wasn't doing that. But I'm just glad I'm not doing what I was doing then at my age now. Like, there's a lot of people my age who are still doing stuff that don't make no sense. And nothing against them, but it's just like, be happy with your own progression. So I guess I'm mainly speaking for resentment from a self point of view. But there's also some things in my life that maybe some others can relate to when it comes to family. Because like I mentioned, you may have family that is really just like they still see you as a certain way, but say you change your lifestyle, you don't eat certain things anymore, you don't do certain things anymore, you don't tolerate certain things anymore. And so they might honestly be resenting you, and you might feel that energy. And honestly, on another note, that's when you kind of have to separate yourself from people. Like, people get family construed with like loyalty. Like, yes, that's your bloodline, but like at the end of the day, all family is not good family. Like, just like anybody out here can rape you, rob you, kill you, family will do the same thing if that's what they gonna do. Like, so people are people, basically, is what I'm saying. Like, so at the end of the day, if you growing and evolving and you see the people around you aren't, and they treating you different because you are, you gotta find a way to get out of there. Like I always say in my videos, for people underage, like under 18, that really can't make no legal moves, do your best to stay out the way as much as you can. I know sometimes stuff's brought to you that you have no control over, but just stay positive. Manifest your freedom. It's coming, I promise. But for those of you that can and have no reason why you should stay in certain situations or whatever it is, like, you need to get up out of there. Because one, you're gonna eventually resent yourself for staying there. Um, you're gonna resent the situation if you aren't already, and that's gonna take a toll on you. Like I said, years down the line, you're gonna say, why did I stay in that situation? Why did I keep letting that happen? And sometimes we just really don't know what the hell we got going on. And that's okay too. But when you do realize you fucking up, you really need to take action on that shit. And so that's where I'm at right now. I'm really realizing, like I said, that I think back to my early 20s a lot just because I feel like I wasted a lot of that time. I had like a dumbass relationship. I'm not talking about my current one. I had like a really stupid, dumb ass relationship. And I'm, I still get mad at myself for dealing with that shit. Like, really not loving myself back then. But now I fucking love myself so much. And it's like, that's great. That's exactly what should happen in life. You should evolve from what you were to what you are in a good way. And while I'm very happy that I've learned to love myself and I'm learning to put myself first more and, figuring out what things I need, it's like I look back and I'm like, yo, if I really would have just loved myself then, I already had all the things I needed then, but I didn't know how to do that back then. I didn't know nothing about loving yourself back then. Honestly, I didn't even want to deal with myself back then. That's why I was in that dumbass relationship, because it distracted me from myself. And now all I want is myself. But now my attention needs to go to a bunch of different places. But it's okay, because it's not like I have to do everything alone or nothing like that. It's just my biggest struggle now is to fight against distracting myself from myself. So like I said, obviously kids require a lot of attention, especially when they small. That can be an excuse for me. Working can be an excuse. Obviously we need money, and obviously when you have kids you need more money, but like, you still have time off. You don't have to be on YouTube and social media all day and stuff like that. You can find time to love yourself then. A lot of people say, well, that's the only time I got free to do those things. By all means, if that's what you feel like you need to do, that's what you do then. Because, at at the end of the day, that time can be used for other stuff, but everybody's at their own pace. But long story short, I'm just working on letting go of the past. Because even with other stuff that's currently going on in my life, I find myself thinking about stuff that has happened. Not talking about that relationship no more, but like just other stuff with the people I actually care about. That has me resenting them and myself sometimes. For different situations that we're involved in, and I just don't want to do that no more. Like I just want to let go of that ugly feeling. 'Cause that's all it really is. Like regret, anger, and sadness for something that's already happened. So it's like either you, if you're still in a similar situation from something that already happened and you're not changing it, what's the point of being sad of how it initially started if you're not going to end it, you know? And then if you're not in that anymore and like stuff has really changed, why are you still holding on to it? Like you got to really pinpoint stuff and figure out what's going on mentally for yourself, because you're really going to get yourself sick. Like, you're really going to make yourself sick thinking about that, because one, you can't take care of yourself in the present if you always think about the past, and then two, like I said, and like I said, Miss Hayes says, sorry, my head itches so bad right here. You're really gonna make yourself physically sick because you're recycling those terrible feelings, and so instead of creating happy feelings and that endorphin that goes inside, that's the chemical inside your brain when you trigger happy thoughts and stuff like that. Um, you're just gonna keep experiencing the same old turmoil, and it's just gonna keep growing until it takes over your body, and then you're battling some kind of illness because you didn't take the time to chill the fuck out. But anyway, I'm just gonna wrap it up right there. Cause that pretty much sums up what I've been experiencing this week. Just a lot of regret for my past, and that is what I want to work on to let go of. Because that time has come and gone. Like I said, I wasn't who I am now then, so I can't keep beating up that 21-year-old who's not even here anymore. Like, she's 26 now. She doesn't do the same thing. She doesn't even talk to half of the same people she used to talk to. So it's like, gotta let that go. Let that hurt go. But follow me on my social medias that I'm gonna post at the bottom. Subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell. I post every week on Thursday. And just continue watching this series with me. Comment below if you have any ideas of anything you want me to speak on. I pretty much just go about my week and, go with the flow and see what things become messages for me that I want to share with you guys. And this week, I really seen a lot of resentment as a message that I wanted to share with what I'm going through. Yeah, because it definitely affects your happiness. But anyway, making sure I ain't forgetting nothing. But so I'll see y'all next week. Thank you for joining me. I love y'all. Good night.